What is up, you three legends? Welcome back to the show. If you clicked this one, you likely can relate to the feeling of feeling stuck. Like you can't do anything, like it doesn't matter what you do, you can't get ahead. You were sold a lie, you followed every step to the T, you did everything you were told by your parents, your teachers, all of it. And this life, this dream they sold you that kept you working when you didn't really understand why you were working in the first place, or kept working when things felt shitty and you kept pushing forward, it was for this thing that now we've gotten here and it's nowhere to be found. The American dream, the Canadian dream, I'm from Canada, has all but gone away completely. And it's left a lot of people feeling very stuck, feeling very shitty, and feeling very alone. Because we as humans, we always think we're the only ones struggling, and there's not enough people that come out and talk about the real shit, right? It's all about flexing this, and I achieved this, and you suck because you didn't. But how do we lift each other up? How do we get out of that feeling stuck? It's got to come from people who have done at least the first few steps, who have done the things that have proven the blueprint. Because the more that you'll learn in life, you'll realize it is just a simple set of steps. And the more that you learn across different sectors of things, you'll learn there's only 7 or 8 lessons you need to learn in life to basically be good at everything. Like, all right, the people that I've studied who are really good at everything, they say the same shit every single time. I've read a bunch of biographies from people who are fantastic at different things, and they all say the same shit. It is insane. So I want to talk about this in particular, about getting unstuck, because I think I'm uniquely qualified to talk about this, because I've been stuck multiple times in my own life. And the more that I've stuck to the script that was given to me, the more pain and discomfort I actually felt, versus the times when I went out on my own and I got unstuck from my own doing. It was far more liberating. I achieved a lot more and I felt a lot more fulfilled. And you can too. And the longer you wait to start doing that, the more difficult it will be, the lower you will be, your situation will be worse, your morale will be worse, and getting out will be that much more difficult. So I want this to be an inflection point in your life, meaning a point in time where there's a dramatic shift that you can think back to this very video and think, this was what got me unstuck. This is what liberated me for me to take control of my own situation and change it completely. There's one simple concept that you need to grasp if you want to get ahead in life. It's that life is just like a funnel. If you've heard the reference from marketing before, a funnel is just like the thing you'd find in your kitchen, where a lot starts at the top and then it funnels and gets tighter and tighter to the bottom, where only a small amount gets through at the end. In the system that we have built in capitalism, whether you like it or you don't like it, it is here. And the rich get richer. And so you have to scratch and claw and work to get down to here, to the lower end of the funnel, to the less amount of people. And so as you're going through life, you just constantly have to ask yourself, what would most people be unwilling or too afraid to do? That's it. And then just go do that thing. And so when you're thinking about a specific dream that you may have, what are the steps towards getting there? And what are the excuses that people make? And almost all of it comes down to one specific phrase: risk. If you want to get to the bottom of the funnel, you want to dictate where you go, and you want to take control of your own life, even in the shit show that is our current state of affairs, you have to be willing to do what others won't. And people are driven by fear. If you can understand this one concept, you can turn your life into whatever you want it to be. We are fighting incredibly flawed programming. Our species, up until this point in history, we're not thriving species. We are not built mentally and subconsciously to thrive. We are built to survive. That is why we are so easy to manipulate. It is so easy to trigger certain behavior. And it's also incredibly easy to predict behavior in people. And that's why bigger powers can so easily manipulate the masses, because we are survival creatures. And so if you want to get to the lower end of the funnel, you have to become aware of that and consciously be fighting that programming every single day as much as you humanly can. And it starts with just becoming aware of it. It starts with when you go through a situation and you feel like you're about to die because something is scary, or you're worried you may look stupid, and realize that that programming is coming from when you used to have legitimate threats at your life every moment when you went out. And if you didn't have that deeply rooted in you, we wouldn't have survived as a species. We have not evolved to the current situation that we have. And if you look at all the people who are ultra successful, they have either luckily been born with less of that, or they've consciously fought that deeply rooted programming to get where they want to go. And it all has to do with getting that lower end of the funnel. And the easiest way to do that is to take on more risk. It's to take on more risk financially, with your time, with your effort, with taking risks, like in terms of taking on chances that others wouldn't. It's being willing to look stupid because the difference between where you are now and where you want to go is looking stupid enough times for that to be a reality. And this is true everywhere, man or woman or whatever you are. This is true. It is a universal truth that in a capitalistic economy, those that take on risk will be rewarded. As long as effort follows that risk. Of course, it's not just take a risk and you're good to go. I'm not saying go to the blackjack table and throw it all on one color, or however blackjack works. I don't play very much. I don't gamble a lot, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say go gamble your life away. I'm saying to take on calculated risk and put the effort and action with it to get the outcome that you want. Whatever dream you have or financial dream you have, a lot of times these risks aren't even real, man. Or there's ways where you can take on this risk without being all that risky. Let's use the example of you're worried about getting replaced by AI. You can't say that you're worried about getting replaced by AI and think that the system is unfair if you haven't tried to build your own escape route with the tool itself. So many people get so mesmerized by the fear, they miss the opportunity because they've been trained to just follow. There's blinders on. We're like horses walking through life just like this. When you realize when you're fighting the programming is that this programming is, or these blinders are from programming that's innately in us and then deliberate systems and structures that you've gone through that have reinforced that for somebody else's benefit. Let me explain. In the education system, why was the education system built the way that it was? It was built to create competent workers to amplify the workforce for the people who owned the businesses and ran the organizations and the government, right? You needed a system in place to create good employees. That, when you realize that alone should open up your eyes quite a bit, to broaden your perspective, to understand that you're fighting a lot of things that were there deliberately. And a lot of people who are in the jobs that they've fought so hard for, they're now there and they're pissed. And then sunk cost sets in. It's another concept that is very important to grasp. There's a few mental models that I'm going to repeat on all these solo episodes again and again and again because they dictate most of the difference between success and failure. And so sunk cost is just let me find the exact definition. A sunk cost is a past cost that has already been incurred and cannot be recovered. It is an expense that is irrelevant to future decisions and should not influence them, but it always does. Because humans are so bad at not letting sunk cost come in. So you're probably at a point in life where you feel stuck, and a lot of it has to do with your own decisions, and you know exactly what to do to change them, but sunk cost has set in and it is now dictating what you do and what you don't do. And that is an incredibly dangerous game to play that will keep you stuck forever. Yesterday is gone. Years ago, the decisions that you were making, the information that you had, it may have been bad. It may have been poor information. The people around you may have had the best of intentions, but they didn't have the information to give you anything of substance. And you didn't have the conviction, whether you believed it or not, to go a different route. And now you're paying the consequences of that poor information. It's a shitty situation, but it's the reality of what it is and where we are right now. So many people are in this exact situation. They've done the things. They went to the school. They did the work, and they have an upper middle level management job that is being taken away. Whether from AI or from somebody who's really good using AI, these things are changing and they're changing rapidly. So each day, more people are going to have to become entrepreneurial out of necessity. And the people like myself who just saw this coming a while ago have a bit of a head start. And so I'm hopeful that more people like myself will try to lift you guys up because I think there's enough for everyone to eat rather than trying to say, I did this, I did this, I did this. And one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to people who have been in the entrepreneurial space online is that part of this is out of necessity because they can't really give away the good information in depth because the casual audience, it'll go over their head. And if you confuse people, you lose people. So a lot of times when people look at a guru and they talk a lot of shit about them for selling a course, I can agree with that. And I actually fought selling a course for so long in my own life. And I really fought it and I never really got into, I sold an education program to like 6 people over the course of my social media career. And I've had hundreds of thousands of followers on my personal pages. I just couldn't do it because I couldn't get past it, but there is some validity to having to do that because what you pay for, you pay attention to. And so if they try to give you all the sauce and all the information like this, you guys won't watch. You won't watch it. But if you get sold on the lifestyle or the outcome of what that information could mean, and then you put the money forward, you're now invested into it, and then you'll pay attention to what may be in the course. And the anchoring that you come to with information will dictate what that information means for you. Good real world example is think about a book that's had the most impact on your life. Was it the book itself, or was it what you needed when you read that book? It's that combination that delivers impact. For human beings to create real tangible change in their life or to change who they are as a person, it has to be the right information and the right emotional connection to it. Otherwise, nothing will stick. And so why a lot of information is gatekept behind a paywall is because if you don't care, if you don't value it, you won't take it for what it could be. And I've lived this situation. I have helped dozens and dozens of friends and family members try to give them their exact dream life. I grow businesses for a living. I've been growing other people's businesses for 7 or 8 years at this point with a social media agency of mine. And we've done crazy shit. We have millions of views. We've made millions and millions of dollars for people. And I tried so hard to give that to the people that I loved most. But if you don't associate the level of emotion needed to the information, it won't mean anything to you. And so I'm not saying to go out and buy courses. What I am saying is understand that you're fighting that. And so you need to create that either through a financial commitment, or you need to emotionally get yourself to a place where you're ready and willing to take in this information, view it as gospel, and then instantly apply it. Why courses make sense for some people is because they need that accountability. Again, I'm not saying to buy courses. I don't have a course to sell you, but you do need to figure out the why behind why something works. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in my own education because I understand that one good decision compounded can mean millions of dollars. If you've not done something for yourself to make $1 online or $1 by yourself, of course you're not going to believe that a good decision can lead to hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. You have to start with something. And the biggest thing I can say is that you need to be emotionally there and channel the emotion of feeling stuck into the opposite of that, which is motion. It's progress. Clarity is always found through action. And so if you're just sitting there feeling stuck, I promise you it's only going to get worse, because like attracts like, and that is so universally true. That's why how you think matters. That's why who you're around matters. That's why the things that you do and say about yourself and other people, they matter, because it attracts more. Anything that you assign attention to, you're assigning importance to. And because of that, you're basically telling the world, the universe, whatever word you want to attach to it, that you want more of those things. And that's why there's so many people that are career victims out there, because they've assigned so much attention and cognitive energy to hating their life, to hating their situation, to hating that politician. And people don't do things that don't serve them unless forced to. And most of us in the first world countries, we do have a degree of free will. And so we're choosing to assign importance. We're choosing to give our time and attention and effort to things that we say we hate. If that were the reality, why would you invest so much time? The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And so you've got to be conscious about what you're giving your time to. So if you feel stuck, are you putting your time and attention into the places that would mean you're unstuck? Have you even thought about what unstuck would look like? And have you taken on any real degree of risk? Have you taken on the risk of looking stupid? Have you taken on the risk of getting a disapproval or your parents not thinking you're great or not being able to brag about you, whatever bullshit that is? Have you thought about the feeling silly about not using the degree that you paid for that you now realize was a waste of money? All of these different things are different tiers of risk. And I would say all of those things aren't risk at all, because you also have to ask yourself, and I love going through this exercise, I want to train you to do this as well, is to think through the 7 layers of why. And so if I come to a wall that's going to stop me from progressing to where I want to go, you want to ask why. Why do you feel that way? Why? 7 times, and you're going to get closer to why you actually feel that way. And if you really did that, you come to realizations that the risk is bullshit. The risk is you. You are the one assigning importance to things that you have no control over, setting yourself up for failure, creating your own situation. Let's use the example of saying, oh, I'm going to look like a failure if I'm not using my degree. Okay, well, why? Oh, well, the people around me who are successful in the career are going to think I'm stupid for going off and trying it. Okay, well, why do you care about that? Oh, well, because they're my friends, blah, 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 blah. Well, why would a friend care about that if this is the best thing for me? Right? So I only have to ask why a few times to realize that the risk I'm associating to this is from people that I probably shouldn't even be giving any of my time to. But yet they're living my own life for me, dictating where I do and don't go. That's the problem here. And if you feel stuck at this point, you need to seek out risk that's in alignment with where you want to go. So you have to do some thinking here. Ask yourself some tough questions and figure out where do I want to go? And then what are the immediate steps and actions that I can take that increase my degree of risk that I'm going to take on, shrinking in the potential of competition. A lot of people do not realize how not competitive the world actually is because of how many people get stuck on different levels of risk. And so if you want higher and higher levels of success in any field, you just need to go to the next level of risk. And so anytime that you feel really stuck in your life, you need to go and seek out the next level of risk if that's something that you want. For myself personally in business, this has been a key theme for me over the last 2 years. For the last 5 years, I was quite complacent with my business. I was going through many, many health problems where I didn't know if I'd still be here at this point. And so I felt stuck. I felt stagnant. And then I dealt with those health problems and I realized that it's not up or shut up time. And I need to take on way more risk. And I did that. And I'm happy that I did. It's been incredibly trying. It's also a very important thing too, is that a lot of times people think that when they're doing the right thing, it's going to be comfortable because they're currently uncomfortable. That could not be farther from the truth. As you go through to solving that, it'll actually temporarily, and the time of this will depend on how big of the change you're making, but it'll actually increase your level of discomfort by quite a bit. That's actually a better sign that you're making progress, not the other way around. Your discomfort should actually increase. And so if you can train your brain to seeing the opportunity in that and being excited, you'll seem crazy to the outside, but when you'll meet other people who have done stuff, you'll realize they're all crazy because they're deliberately making themselves crazy because that's where success is found. There's a reason why it's seen as crazy, because the people who did it made the system to convince you that doing that would be crazy. Could you imagine if you did that? Well, wait, then why do the people who are telling me what to do, they did that? So why is this that crazy? It's not. But if it's not a belief that it is, so many more people will try. And we're getting to a point now economically where many, many, many more people are going to try this out of necessity. And so this show is really a resource to try to help equip you with not only the information in terms of what to use, but the mental models to make you infinitely adaptable. Because the only thing that's going to remain consistent as we move forward is an increased rate of change. Things are going to be changing so incredibly rapidly, but if you develop a solid frame of controlling yourself, your emotions, and then also dictating where you want to go, you become fairly unstoppable. There will be discomfort, things will be hard, but the things that matter will come into focus, and you'll realize how much time and attention you spent on things that didn't matter at all. And that's quite a freeing experience that a lot of people are going through right this very moment. And I'm excited for you. But make this the thing, man. Make this the moment. You can watch this video until you're blue in the face. You can watch other videos, and it's a form of mental masturbation until you take the risk, right? This is even a great example of avoiding risk. A lot of times people will feel like they're doing something, they're being constructive, making progress, just consuming. If you're simply consuming, it means you're not creating. And if you're not creating actual movement. If anything that you can do passively, you're not creating that action that I've talked about to create the clarity that you so desire. So you have to be moving forward. So it starts with a bit of thinking, and then you want to over-index on action until you're glaringly sure you're going in the wrong direction. And then from there, you're going to have accumulated a bunch of skills, resources, and people that can help you go as you pivot. And also, another thing to know is that too, trying this stuff is a degree of risk because people are worried about trying one thing and it not being successful. It's inevitable. It's not going to be successful. And that's the entire fucking point, is it's not going to be successful. And anybody that you look at who's been successful, they tried 401 things. I've failed more businesses than I've started. I've failed half the businesses that I've started more. I've probably started since I was a little kid, 20 plus businesses, and one or like 2 or 3 of them still function and still are going. That's the nature of it, because you can't associate single importance to one specific thing because you don't even know enough to know if that's actually where you want to go. But if you don't start down the path, you'll never figure that out. And most people, for their entire life, they sit with the options in front of them, and because they're so worried about making the wrong choice, they don't even make one, and they never realize before they die that was the only wrong choice, was none at all. If this episode resonated, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me personally, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. I do these solo episodes on topics that I feel can help you out. And I also bring on the best minds in AI, crypto, and other emerging tech to help give you the tools to shape the life that you want for yourself. So make sure to hit that bell button so YouTube will actually show you my next episode. And I appreciate you more than you know. Peace and love. All the best.